Ladies and gentlemen, as we are about to begin, please ensure your microphones are muted to avoid any disruption during the session. Gentlemen, my name is Khadija Ramlan and I will be your MC for tonight. Before we begin, once again, please ensure that your microphone is muted when you are not speaking and do not meddle with the Microsoft Teams feature to avoid any interruption during the session. Assalamualaikum and good evening and welcome to the Townhall Session 2022. On behalf of the organizing committee, we are indeed blessed to have all of you here today to witness this amazing event. To seek the blessing from the Almighty, I would like to invite Mr. Muhammad Jalaluddin Berosli to lead the Dua recitation. Please welcome.
إلى حضرة النبي المصطفى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه كرام الفاتحة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Ya Allah, Ya Rahim, praise be to God, the Lord of the worlds. Peace and blessings be upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions and for those who followed his example till the judgment day. Allahumma ya Allah, on this blessing night, in conjunction with the UTP campus election 2022, we beseech thee and grateful towards you in favor of all the infinite blessings to us, your humble servant, to live in safe and prosperous life. We seek your blessing for a flawless progress of this event from the beginning till the end. We seek your guidance to steer clear of events that would detrimental the progress of this event. Ya Latif, Ya Rahman, please bless us with your tawfiq and hidayah. Please guide University Technology Petronas to greatness, peace, glory, and prosperity in this world and hereafter. Make us a responsible intellectual, granted us with a valuable knowledge that will be beneficial to mankind in order to gain your mardatillah. Make us your righteous servant that followed your commands and neglect the sinful act. Please forgive us for our wrongdoing. Rabbana 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 atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adzaban nar. Wa sallallahu ala sayidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Thank you, Mr. Jalal. May our event be full of blessing. Now, moving on to our main agenda, we will open the floor to the students for the Q&A session. The Q&A session will be conducted alternately between SPP and VCP. The Q&A session will begin by having any students to ask one question for SPP representative. Once the question has been answered, we will then allow a question to be asked to VCP's representative. This process will be repeated until the Q&A session ends. For your information, on the slides, we are displaying two QR codes, which will bring you to the respective parties' manifestos. You may scan the code to read the manifestos. If you have a question, you may use the raise hand feature and your name will be called out to ask the question. Please keep in mind that only one question per attendee is allowed during the session. So, before we start our Q&A session, let me introduce the panel for today. From the Student Representative Party, we will be having Alif Malik bin Abdul Malik, the President of SPP, and Nikita Helena Azwa binti Fezrin Azwa, which is the VCP for SPP. Okay, VCP Deputy President for SPP. And from the Varsity Civic Party, we will be having Muhammad Aidit bin Ghani, VCP Deputy President, and Kenneth Chong Yi Har, VCP Treasurer. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let us now begin with the Q&A session. For anyone who would like to ask a question to the Student Representative Party, you may now raise your hand. So, the first question is from Abdul Rauf Aiman Yusri. So you may open your mic to ask question to SPP. Abdul Rauf. So, okay. Now, we invite Ahmad Ishamuddin bin Saifuddin to ask the first question to SPP.
So, okay, right now, hello, can you guys hear me? Okay, I want to give this question to VCP. So right now, it's regarding about UTP Smart. Okay, for my looks, my personal opinion, and my looks, I would like to give this question. But before that, I would like to make a statement first. This manifesto isn't smart at all, nor look smart, you know? Okay, let me give you this question. How can you guys achieve to make this happen? Engaging with Petronas isn't that easy. Although your uncle is a part of Petronas is a multi-million company. They won't look through these types of projects, you know, because it's just a small project. It's unbeneficial, not that beneficial for them. Okay, so like their workloads are more important rather than sitting and discussing with you guys about Petronas bonus cards and such. Plus, what sort of stuff you can give and get through those points. Students won't even bother to know about that. Okay, what I see is this manifesto is just a waste. So how can you achieve this? By proving me this UTP Smart is a great manifesto. So yeah. Hello?
I believe this question is directed to VCP, right? So
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the question. I guess you are asking a question about UTP Smart. Okay, first we know that this manifesto, yeah, it's actually somehow it's difficult for us to achieve, but it doesn't mean that it's difficult then we don't want to achieve it, because this is actually one of our great startup for UTP to reach out to all the students to enhance the students' experience in the university, because we want to improve a lot in this metric card. If you found that this metric card is just only used in examinations, or maybe just used in the discount outside the retail store, it doesn't have any use besides on this tool. So if we found that these are not, this is not what we aim for the metric card, we want to be more functionable for the students, because we want students to experience more, especially we come back to physical class. So the first step that we can do is we will have a lot of engagement with UTPs, and we ensure that from here we can get at least a connection with the Petronas Dagang Berhad. So we try to contact with them and tell them our idea to improve the smart card, and this is our first step to ensure that the UTP smart card can be achievable. So we really want to make sure that students can really enjoy the smart card, especially enjoy the student experience in campus. So we will try our best to achieve this. Yeah, thank you for your question.
All right, thank you. Although it never answers my, my question, I never felt satisfied, but never mind. Let's continue on to next people to give you a question.
All right, since it was a question VCP now, anyone who want to ask question to SPP party, you may now raise your hand. It is for SPP. All right, the first one to raise hand is Harinesh. You may now open your mic and ask question.
Alright, okay, thank you very much, Khatijah. So, alright, I will like to direct this question to SPP. So, in your manifesto, there is one which is academic. Sorry, connection. Okay, academic leniency. So, I do support that manifesto. However, what if students are packed on weekdays and cannot have the assessment? Everyone is aware that our respective lecturers always try to make sure our assessment can be done by weekdays. Then they usually ask for our consent to move it to weekends only if there is no better choices. So if we force only weekdays for assessment, then students will not be prepared, and maybe because of that they get bad scores. And my real question is, do you have data presentation as a proof that UTP students are born to develop stress due to that? Because in the manifesto description, you do mention that without adequate rest, students are born to develop stress, anxiety, and many more. All right, okay, that's my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question, Harinesh. You've mentioned about having tests during weekdays, it will be packed, and about our data. So we have also engaged with PCS, and most of my friends have also been to PCS, and most of my friends are victims on having to do a lot of workload during the weekdays, and this has put them into a lot of pressure, stress, and depression. And with this manifesto, we are sure to we are sure to we are sure that students have the freedom of speech, and also with the freedom of speech, meaning that we can ensure that students can also ask the lecturers, and also for classes to be held during weekends or weekdays, students can also discuss with their lecturers and also their classmates, and they are not forced to have classes during the weekends. They have to have an agreement with the lecturers and also the students in their class. And I hope that ensures that this is our rights as students to have an agreement with the lecturers to have our test during weekend, and it is not forced for us to have the test during weekends. And also it is our freedom as students to have a lot of to choose on whether we want to have our test during weekends or weekdays. And I hope that answers your question, Harinesh.
All right, I will say it's not 100% answering my question, because in the manifesto itself you say you don't want to make the assessment on weekends, but this manifesto you are changing it to freedom of students. I will say it's more to freedom of students. Maybe the student want to choose on Saturday and Sunday, so we shouldn't say that we cannot do it on Saturday and Sunday. So it still depends on the students, right? Right. Okay, thank you very much for your response.
Okay. Thank you, Harinesh. But during the manifesto night, I have also mentioned that it has to be in agreement with the lecturer and also the student in the whole class. And I believe that if you entered the manifesto night, you would have known this, because I have explained it fully during manifesto night. And yes, it is also, again, I would like to remind, it is the students' freedom and it's our rights on whether we want to have the class or test during the weekdays or weekends. And it depends on the lecturer and the whole student. Thank you so much.
I think, thank you, Mr. Harinesh. So So anyone who has a question to VCP, you may raise your hand and unmute your mic. Let me check. Okay, the first is Mr. Norma Mikael. You may unmute your mic and ask question.
Hello, can you guys hear me? If can, my question to VCP is that during my foundation years, which is on May 2020, I believe that's your tenure for SRC. During that time, I did not even realize that you have the SRC led by your party. So how would you prove to me that you will not do the same thing? You will not let all the foundation students face the same luck if you become the SRC for the next tenure. Thank you.
Excuse me, can you repeat your question?
Yeah, sure. My question is that during my foundation times in UTP, which is on May 2020, I believe that you are the one who leads the SRC for 2020 tenure. And what I know is that I did not even realize there was an existence of SRC led by your party, because I don't even know there's such thing. I mean, there's no awareness about your SRC or your party. And compared to last tenure, the SPP, some EXCOs have been, exposing themselves in the WhatsApp group and all. So how can I assure that you will not repeat the same thing, especially for the foundation student, if you become the SRC for the next tenure?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. Here I would like to answer. Norman, maybe this question is already long in Norman's mind, because he is a student of intake of May 20, right? Not mistaken. Right. So basically, the question is regarding the visibility of the SRC, right? And when we go back to the 2020, if it's our fault, we need to admit first, right? Okay. So I don't want to claim that we do, etc., that we do everything is in good way and we don't have any mistakes then, right? Okay. But currently, we are with a new and a fresh lineup where our hope is not, we come with a passionate hope. We come with experience background where we want to contribute the best for this year. Okay. And I, on behalf of the Red Party, if you feel like that during that tenure, allow me to apologize on behalf of VCP. And for this year, we are going to come back stronger. And I hope you can give
I don't believe you understand my question. All I want to say is that is your functionality during my foundation times here, especially during your tenure. All I want to say is that you cannot just depend on hope, but I really want to see your functionality during that time. So all I can say is that just now when you apologize, is just proving my point that you're not that showing your function during your tenure. So I think that answers all of my questions. Thank you.
Okay, allow me to correct. In SRC lineup, it's not always VCP the one in charge of it, even though the parties win. Same goes to the last year. Last year, SRC winning the election, and in SRC, there are some of them come from VCP. Okay, and then
I know.
Yeah,
You need to
allow
know who
me to
leads the SRC for the last tenure, because they keep on reminding people to be awareness, stay aware of the COVID-19 and all in the WhatsApp groups, and we're aware that they are SPP and leading the SRC. But compared to your last tenure during 2020, I don't even notice that you are leading the SRC that time. So how can I show you that you will not repeat the same mistake for your next tenure?
Okay, Norman, allow me to engage with you as a student and also a student. So tonight I don't want to be deputy president and so on, but with our team right now, we believe that we are going to deliver the best experience ever that you will gain for this tenure.
Okay, and then I'm truly sorry on behalf of VCP. I'm truly sorry for that tenure if you think that we don't exist at that time. Okay, allow me to expose some of the achievement on 2020, where that time we implement UTP student parliament. Okay, and the concept and the previous year concept is same, where we do a virtual student parliament, and in student parliament there I know how the I mean like um yeah, I give you example. During 2020, okay, that time we reconstruct the student parliament because it have, I could say, if not well implemented 2 years before our tenure on 2020. That's one of the achievement. And the second achievement is the revise of the dress code of UTP student that time. We try our best to revise the UTP student dress code, and it is well executed. And then uh, I'm not sure why you still not see the visibility of SRC that time, because on behalf of SRC also on that year we have worked like the previous tenure also. And for your information, the last year tenure, we give them the guideline one by one, the template for the poster and so on. And then they can get benefit from the hard work of 2020 tenure with a complete guideline for them to do their work in a smart process. Okay. And I really sorry if you still not see SRC in that tenure, but yeah, I cannot argue much about your personal opinion.
Okay.
Well, I could say is that SRC always there for every year. So hopefully every students are aware that SRC is always there. Every year we have SRC. Okay.
All right. I don't think you understand the question nor you're answering my question. I just didn't want to waste my time or anyone else's time. So I just want to say thank you so much for your effort. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Norman. But before that, I would like to remind you that only one question per attendees. Okay, let's move on. So anyone who wants to ask a question to SPP, can raise your hand and we will call out your name. You can raise your hand, anyone. Okay, Mr. Roman, you may unmute your mic and ask the question. Oh,
Is it me again?
yeah, you can.
Oh, thank you for giving me the floor to ask. I just want to ask some question to SPP about regarding their manifesto, the one that is academic leniency. I just want to ask for your clarification. If you become the SRC for the next tenure, is it confirmed that there will be no extra classes or any tests or quizzes during the weekends? That's all I want to know.
Thank you so much for the question, Norman. I believe you asked whether we are sure on our manifesto or not regarding no tests or quiz during weekend. Okay, so me myself, we don't want tests during weekend. Am I right? You don't want a test during weekend because weekend is for us and only us. And with this manifesto, we are sure because we have engaged with our Deputy Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs, Prof. Hisham, and he also has agreed that we can't take student time during weekend. And also I believe I have talked to Harines just now regarding the agreement in class with all the students and also the lecturer themselves, as it is our time and it's our right for us to want tests or quizzes or classes during weekends. And also, it is our freedom of speech whether we want to argue with the lecturer or not. And with this manifesto, we will be discussing with cadets also in later future, where we will also discuss with them to have no classes during weekend. And as I mentioned earlier, our Deputy Vice Chancellor also has already agreed to this, and we are sure that cadets would have to agree with this. And thank you so much, Norman. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you, Mr. Norman. So anyone who want to ask question to VCP can raise your hands and we will call out your name. Okay, we have a lot of questions. So, Mr. Kelvin Joshua Doni, you may unmute your mic and ask the question.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Boleh.
Yeah. Okay. So, based on the post on your Instagram, you mentioned about aligning to current social lifestyle. So, do you think that the current social lifestyle for LGBT community, which is the biggest topic in Malaysia at the moment, are you representing for them? Is VCP supporting this lifestyle? So, if no, so then why are you saying that your manifesto is adhering to the current social lifestyle? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. This is regarding the new UTP under number three manifesto, where we want to amend I put all regulations in UTP. Okay, and to me, to me as a representative from VCP, we believe that there are amendments needed for the rules and this has been supported by what have been happened on 2020, where we achieved to revise the dress code of student in UTP. Okay, and the implementation basically I could say quite similar. Where allow me to answer your question. Okay, where there are a lot more rules and regulation that should not be there. I mean, with the current situation and with the current problem faced by the student, especially I give you the foundation student. They don't have any transport because they are restricted to bring the car and the motorcycle to the campus. And after engagement, we have had the engagement with the PMMD, and then they don't have any problem with the amendment of the rules and regulation. Right? Also agree that these regulations are classic and old and need to revise. But how to implement that? Basically, we are going to invite all the party leaders. Okay, let's say VCP win. Okay, let's say, right? With respect, we will invite the party leaders Alif, Malik, Nikita, and the volunteering student and the required management staff to sit down together to discuss on this new regulation. That's one of the example. Second example is the restriction of bringing the electrical appliance. Okay, that the mini fridge and yeah, I give you the mini fridge.
Sir. Yes. So I don't think you understand my question. I am clearly asking you a direct question whether or not to know your stand, VCP stand, to align with LGBT community within UTP or not. That is my question actually.
Yeah, pardon. Sorry from my side. I don't hear clearly on LGBT part. Okay, regarding the LGBT part, we are against them. Yeah, we are against the LGBT part. Okay.
Sir. So you are clearly saying that your manifesto is contradicting what you said is contradicting to your manifesto actually, because you said you want to adhere to the current social lifestyle. That is your manifesto.
Yeah.
So then why do you do not support it?
Okay. Okay, I give you the answer. Please
Okay.
open with an
Can
open
I ask
heart,
a
alright?
clar-
Please accept with an open heart. Where we live in Malaysia, and does Malaysia allow LGBTQ? No, right? And then we need to follow the national constituency, where we don't allow LGBTQ to be. I mean,
So this means that you are contradicting your own manifesto. You are not supporting your own manifesto. So I want to ask, are you really against the LGBT community? That is our question. Just to clarify, just want to
okay.
clarify.
Regarding the clarification for our new UTP, basically it want to amend the rules that I mean like stopping the welfare of the student. I mean like the example that I said, that's the one that we want to achieve. We want to remove the strict law for bringing the car for the foundation student, also regarding electrical appliance. That's what we want to achieve. Understand? Maybe because you think that it's contradict based on the social lifestyle. Basically, that social lifestyle is for the UTP community, for the UTP community social lifestyle. It's not global social lifestyle. Okay, that's my clarification.
I think that's all from Mr. Kelvin. Okay, let's proceed to question to SPP. Anyone who wants to ask question to SPP can raise your hand and we will call out your name. The first one to raise the hand is Mr. Ahmad Fadli bin Alias. You may unmute your mic and ask the question.
Thank you, MSC, for giving me the opportunity to ask the question. So I just want to ask a question to SPP regarding the LGBT stuff. So yeah, VCP already stated their stand against the LGBT community. What about the SPP stand regarding the LGBT community? Thank you.
Part of UTP students. Okay, thank you so much for the question, Mr. Ahmad Fadli. Okay, so we, the SPP, we respect every student's rights, every student's freedom, and it is up to them on whether it is their choice. And with that, we are not against them. We respect every single decision they make, and we don't encourage them, but we respect all their decisions. So it is all their freedom, and it's up to them. And yeah, I believe that is my answer for you, Mr. Ahmad Fadli.
So your stand is support them or what?
We they make, and who are we to choose how they live? So it's up to them. Hello. Okay. So sorry for the internet connection. We don't encourage them, but we respect whatever decision they make. Okay. Who are we to choose the way they live? It's up to them. It's their freedom. It's their rights, and everything is up to them. So we don't encourage, but we respect. So that is my answer to your question, Mr. Ahmad Fadli.
Yeah. Thank you. I got your question. Yeah, your answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fadli. So let's proceed to a question to VCP. So anyone who wants to ask a question to VCP can raise your hand and we will call out your name. So the first one to raise hand is Adam Haizri Zairi. You may unmute your mic and ask the question.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so my question for VCP is, while UTP Right platform suggests that a rental service to be used to address parking concerns, your new UTP manifesto state that foundation students should be allowed to use their own vehicles, right? So isn't that going to exacerbate the parking problem. Both manifestos are incompatible with one another. So please answer my question, please. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your question. I think you were referring to the UTP, right? Yes, from our manifesto, we actually want to provide the foundation students to have an opportunity to bring up their own vehicles to join in the UTP. Yeah, because the reason why we did this because we want them to actually have inside UTP to have a better transportation for foundations, and we was trying to do some amendment from the old rules. We want to amend the new rules that even foundation students also can bring up the own vehicles. Yeah, and then for the parking issues just now you mentioned about, I don't think that the issues will be occur when foundation students will bring up to their own vehicles, because actually we inside UTP, if you were referring to our manifestos, we actually propose to provide lots of the service like scooters and bicycles, and then more students can have the opportunity to either want to try the experience to try the transportations that are already provided. So there will be less vehicles will be used by the students, as they found that UTP currently have this kind of convenient transportation in UTP. So that should be no problem. I hope that will answer your question.
But for, I think
Thank you, Mr. Heidrich, for the question. So let's proceed to SPP. Anyone who want to ask a question to SPP, raise your hand and we will call out your name. The first one raise the hand is Warno Shahizad. Miss Warno Shahizad, you may unmute your mic and ask the question.
Okay. SPP said in SPP manifesto that SPP want to help and assist students to do and grow their business or service on campus, meaning that SPP will give a chance and opportunity to students to do business. So what kind of assistance would you provide to them, and how many students will get benefit from this approach?
Okay, thank you so much for your question. Okay, first of all, we're going to be providing a platform for students who want to open up their business so they can practice their opportunity and their right to open up their own business. On top of that, we're going to be collaborating personally with Technopreneurship from CSD, and we personally discussed this with Encik Zamri as well, and he agreed and supported our manifesto, and especially in terms of funding new businesses of UTP students. We already got the support of Technopreneurship. On top of that, we're going to plan to provide the space of V2 Foyer as a marketplace for students to sell their services and products. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wan Nur Shahizad. So let's proceed to the next question. Anyone who want to ask a question to VCP can raise your hand and we will call out your name. Okay, the first one to raise hand is Miss Balkinesli Ezrain. So you may unmute your mic and ask the question.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Okay, so my question is for VCP, and I want to ask about their manifesto number 6, I think, about UTP, right? So I want to ask, will the rental service be from a company outside of UTP? If yes, how do you guarantee that their rate will be affordable for students? If it isn't, and the rental service is by UTP, can you tell me who will oversee this service? For example, taking care of the transport, making sure all are in good condition, and fixing them if have any problems. Won't you need a totally different department for this? Thank you. That's my question.
All right, thank you once again your question regarding on UTP, right? Okay, so first of all, let me clarify something. During 2019 and the early of 20s, if you realize that actually UTP was provided this kind of service, okay, the service scooters and bicycles. So means that UTP has the first step of doing this, and we, as in my batch, we actually still can experience the rental service. However, due to the pandemic situations, the company was forced to cancel the due to UTP as no students was used and all the students were having online and no students in UTP. So this service was once again, it's not used at that period of time. So from our manifestos, our aim is to provide this scooter and bicycle service again and to let the students to experience it. So means that we will try to collab and engage with UTP management to invite the outsiders company to actually implement this UTP right service in UTP. And I'm pretty sure that no worries about the price because as previous case, the price was actually affordable for students as it was estimated as low as 2 ringgit per hour. So if you realize that, so this will be our target too. We will want to provide a service that is affordable by students. So I hope that this will answer your question. Thank you.
But then back during the last time during.
Thank you, Ms. Balkinelli. So I would like to remind you to mind your attitude in the chat box. And please do not ask the sensitive question. So let's proceed to raise your hand.
I believe Miss Khadija was lagging just now.
Okay, let's invite Muhammad Haziq Mirza. So am I lagging?
Ada okay dah.
Yeah. So question to right now, question to SPP. So let's invite Muhammad Haziq Mirza to ask question to SPP party.
Okay, thank you, MC. My question is regarding the third manifesto of SPP about the crisis handling. I believe that COVID-19 has been in our norm for almost 2 years. And me myself have been in UTP since last semester, September 21st semester. And some of my friends was quarantined. And my question is, because of the COVID-19 positive cases, I believe. And my question is, why there is no announcement regarding COVID-19 cases last year, since you are the one who lead the SRC last year? Or maybe you can enlighten us if there was an effort to do this transparency, so-called transparency. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Muhammad Haziq. So you mentioned on why isn't there any announcement, and yes, we understand because my friends ourselves went into isolation. My friends, most of them went into isolation in such a hurry. And this is what we are fighting for. We are fighting for the rights of students. Students are stakeholders of UTP and we have to know the situation. Announcement should be made by us also. Decision should be made by us also. But right now, all the decisions the management is making. Where is our rights? Where's our freedom? So this is what our manifesto stands for and this is why we are fighting for. And we hope with this manifesto, we could fight together in getting this manifesto to get it to be achieved. Thank you so much for the question. I hope that answers your question, Mr. Haziq.
I think you, if you can understand my question correctly, as you the one, I think you're also the one who in the SRC last year. So what is the effort to do that, to voice out and give our right to know the positive cases? That's my question. Actually.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Haziq. And yes, me myself did not agree last tenure. We, the SRC, last tenure did not agree to this as well. And yes, we have been fighting for that. And now we are fighting more. because last tenure, when the case at first the number of cases in UTP was very low and it was controllable, and we had not imagined this to happen. And we need to know, we as students, we need to know the situation, but it has come to where the number of cases starts increasing by this year itself, and by this year all SRC has been dissoluted. So at that time we had no power to do anything at that time. So with that, that's why we are bringing up this manifesto. We want our voice to be heard, and we need to continue this progressively, as we are the Students Progressive Party, as our name says. And with this, we would like you, the student, to also help us, help everyone, and for us to be in the discussion together with the management, for us to solve all the current issues, and for us to discuss all the decisions that have been made for us. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Arif.
Thank you so much. That's it.
Thank you for the question. Now, let's proceed to question to VCP party. So anyone who want to ask a question to VCP, can raise your hand and we will call out your name. I'm sorry. Okay, the first one who raised the hand is Muhammad Shauki. Mr. Muhammad Shauki, you may unmute your mic and ask the question.
Hello, Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
This is regarding to UTP Smart. I would like to ask the VCP about how would like you to collaborate with Tronas. For this kind of collaboration, usually it involves a long-term process. Are you sure it can be done in 1 year? Okay, done.
Okay, this one allow me to answer your question. All right. First, when we propose something, we cannot say that this one cannot achieve, right? But we propose something based on our understanding, based on the experience, and so on. Okay. Let's say I think that UTP Smart is not achievable to be executed by this year. Why? Right. Okay. So I ask you why. Because actually, if we put full commitment, right, based on my experience conducting an event as a project director, to get the sponsors, sometimes people think it's very difficult, but I, as the project director, and my team, together with my team, can get sufficient sponsor, right? And then this one basically it goes back to how the management and also the company's working style, right? If you're familiar with the outside company, first you need to know what is the department of that company, right? As for Petronas, you already targeted among the big branch of Petronas, we targeted Petronas Dagangan because we know that they are in charge of doing this, giving the perks to the customer lah. But for us, we are as the student, so we want to get the perks to the students. And okay, I want to clarify once again that a tenure is only 1 year tenure, right? And then this one, I could say it's a challenge. I cannot argue with that. But with our team right now, we have contacted with the registration for the smart card. It can be done, and then if the smart card can be done, right? I mean, the smart card is the core for a multi-nation. Is the core. By right, when we have the core, by time we can improve time by time the functionality of that smart card. Okay. So the first basic thing about UTP smart card is we want to upgrade with your metric card to be a smart card with a multifunction. Right. And then Petronas, that's what we want to bring you up this year to give you full waiver. Okay. And then regarding the company, I believe it's not that it's hard, but it's not unachievable. Okay. Allow us to show you this year we can do this. I made you a promise this year. So allow us to show you you may gain the perks this year. Thank you for the question.
Thank you for the question. So let's move on to question to SPP party. Anyone who wants to ask a question to SPP can raise your hand and we will call out your name. The first one raise the hand is Muhammad Atif Shukri. So Mr. Atif, you may unmute your mic and ask the question.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
My question for SPP is a very short question. About the entrepreneur manifesto. Just now I heard that you guys want to help and expose the business owner to do their business in V2 and so on. But as an online business owner, my concern is, will you help students with online business owner or online business, which is, for example, giving out aid or any money plan or anything? So that is just my concern. But before you answer the question, I would like to say I've already weighted both manifesto, and your party manifesto caught my eyes, and I would like to say thank you for being realistic, holistic, and relevant towards our UTP community. And also, I think that all the manifestos that you guys list out can be achieved lah. So my concern is about business online business owner. Okay, thank you.
Okay, actually, thank you so much, Atif, for bringing that up. Us, SPP, we don't want to hold anyone back from their opportunities or opening up their own business, whether it be a physical one or an online one. So thank you so much for bringing that up so I can clarify to everyone. The technopreneurship collaboration that SPP, hopefully SRC, will have between technopreneurship and Encik Zamri will provide all businesses, even online businesses, with funding that they need for your programs, for advertising, anything at all. On top of that, we'll also be helping to promote as well. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I wish you luck in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So let's move on to VCP party. Anyone who wants to ask a question to VCP can raise your hand and we will call out your name. So the first one who raised the hand is Sin Lee Chunam. You may unmute your mic and ask the question, Mr. Singh.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so my question is regarding to the fourth manifesto of VCP, which is UTP Smart. So I believe this is a very, very big project because it actually involves all the staff in UTP and also all the students in UTP. So can you clarify in detail what is the whole ecosystem of this UTP Smart? And I believe it does not just come with just a single card and also with all the devices and the whole system. Please clarify on that. And also another question is, who have you engaged with that agree to implement this system? And do you have an overall budget on the whole thing?
All right, thank you for your questions. So let me briefly explain about what the overall smart card are going to be used for the next these 10 years. So actually, what I mentioned for the first question, we want to make a UTP metric card is just not a card that only for examinations, and they found out that it's not as important as what we actually want. So the new thing that we'll put inside this card is actually the ability of accessing the UTP facilities. Okay, so if you found that based on our description in manifestos, we actually aim so that this card can accessible to the UTP facilities, and this is the first function for our card. And the second one, the features of this card also can have some bonus point from Petronas, like what Petronas did before. We can have the bonus card, and then they can actually utilize in maybe some of the Petronas merchandise, and they can claim some of the merchandise from the Petronas. But at the first stage, we need to ensure smart card need to be exist in our tenure first, because this is the core thing. If we have smart card, then we can proceed to the next stage. And this project is actually, like what you say, it's a long-term project. So a long-term project must have the high sustainability in UTP. So we don't want that this project is just stopped in our tenure. We also want to bring out this project to the next stage, which is the next tenure and the next tenure. And this project, it's not fully complete in our tenure, because we're sure that this smart card will have lots of improvement and lots of innovation can be added inside this smart card, so the sustainability can be existed to the next tenure. So from our part, we need to done our part first. We need to make the smart card exist, and we need to make sure that this card can access to the UTP facilities. And for the next stage, they can improve a lot from smart card, and this will bring the true potential of UTP. Yes, I hope that will answer your question.
Okay. See, first of all, I did not ask anything about the card, and you see, I have a cousin in Singapore.
Oh, all right. Sorry, just now, one question that you asked, do we actually have any engagement session do we conduct? Yes, we do have engagement conducted. We conducted and he said that it's one of the project that is applicable in UTP, and this can actually applicable. So this is the engagement whether that we have. So we truly prove you that this can be applicable in UTP. Yeah, thank you for that question.
Thank you, Mr. Sean, for the question. Moving on to the next, to VCP party. SPP party. Anyone who want to ask a question to SPP, you can raise your hand and we will call out your name. So the first one to raise hand is Miss Hasha Amalia binti Adnan. You may unmute your mic and ask the question.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, for SPP,
yes, we can.
I'm asking, how do you suggest to pledge for a greener UTP? That's all.
Okay, thank you, Hasha, for your question. We will make a promise to UTP students to make it a greener society, a greener community. One way we're doing this is clearly from our 6th manifesto, the eco-friendly campus. One way is to provide all students with a bicycle service for rent. This will allow students to have no transportation issues, especially if you have no cars, to give you a zero carbon emission alternative. On top of that, let me explain further about our 6th manifesto, is to create discounts for students who bring their own containers. This will ultimately reduce the wastage, the plastic wastage of the UTP community, which will over time help with climate change, waste, energy wastage. On top of that, we want to increase the number of recycling bins within UTP. Now, recycling also helps with the progress of climate change, wastage of energy, and many more in terms of our population. And that is the way that we're going to pledge for a greener UTP. Once again, thank you so much, Hasha, for your question.
Thank you for the wonderful answer.
Thank you for the question. So let's move on to VCP party. Anyone who want to ask a question to VCP can raise your hand and we will call out your name. So the first one who raised the hand is Mr. Ahmad Afzal bin Mr. Ahmad Afzal. You may unmute your mic and ask the question.
Thank you, Khadija, and hi. Basically, I just want to ask one of your manifesto, which is the new UTP. You say that on all regulation that are not necessary and aligned with the current social lifestyle and needs. So basically, to which rules and regulation are you referring to? And are you finding that the current management of UTP are not making the right rules for us? Why are you creating that kind of manifesto? Like, what is your opinion on this?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. I really appreciate for that question. But before that, I would like to remind everybody that came to this town hall session. Actually, from my expectation is for the party leaders, either from SPP or VCP, we can engage with a harmonic environment, and we can open our ears to lend our ears to hear to all the idea that presented by the presenters today. Okay, thank you so much for the question. Regarding that, do I think the rules and regulation that have been made by UTP is not, have problem and so on, right? Let's go back to the when it was implemented. Most of the rules in UTP are implemented long time ago. As I know, one of them is what I got from the engagement with the staff, where some of the rules are from 10 years ago, right? And then currently we are, as you can say, people keep evolving with their, mindset and also the intelligence. And now, why not we propose an amendment of the old regulation to ease the students' need in UTP. Okay, for the example, actually I already told during the earlier event where we want to remove the restriction of foundation student to bring car and also the motorcycle. And the second example is the restriction of the electrical appliances, and how does we want to remove that. Basically, if you think that, right, why the restriction come? Because they are aware of the student safety and also the hostel safety. Yeah, with the measurement of the HS, right? And then because of that thing, we find the cause of it, so we know how to implement it. By the student can request to bring that thing, but they need to get a sticker. Get a sticker from PMD and HSE, and then when RV asking them why they are bringing this restricted tools, actually they already have the answer. And with that, us, let's say the future SRC, bringing this up, so by right, the future generation will get benefited by this. I hope that's answer your question.
Thank you for the question. So Let's move on to SPP party. Anyone want to ask the question to SPP can raise your hand and we will call out your name. So the first one who raised hand is Muhammad Haika Hakim. Mr. Haika Hakim, you may unmute your mic and ask the question.
All right. In your manifesto, you say that you want to help students in setting their business by providing necessary support. Why does SPP wants to help in setting up business when we already have a specific office about this, which is entrepreneurship office? And what makes you different? And why do we need to go to you instead of entrepreneurship office? Are you saying that Techno is not doing their job to help the students?
Okay, thank you so much for your question. Technopreneurship under CSD is a specific department that helps to teach students how to create their own business, how to run their own business. But we, SPP, SRC, are going to give you the opportunity to run your own business, the platform for you to run your own business. For example, the V2 foyer will give you the place to run your business. Technopreneurship is teaching you how to fish. SPP is going to give you that fishing rod. On top of that, the V2 foyer will be your marketplace to promote your business. It will give you many, many opportunities. And like I said before, we will be working closely with entrepreneurship. You can open your own stalls, sell your own things, open your own booths. That is how it's different from technopreneurship. And I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Um,
I think that's all question. Right. So I think that's all for Q&A session today. So let's move on to ladies and gentlemen. That is the end of our town hall session. That's mean we end our Q&A session for today. But before we end today's event, I would like to invite all students and committees to switch on your camera for photography session. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Say cheese. With that, the Townhall Session 2022 has come to the end. We would like to seek your cooperation to scan the QR code on the screen and give us feedback on the session. Your feedback is important to us. Ladies and gentlemen, we, the whole UTP Election Secretariat committees, would like to thank everyone for your tremendous support and participation in this event. Before that, we would like to remind you of the next pre-election session, which is the presidential debate session at 8:30 p.m. tomorrow night. And thank you and good night.
Thank you, ES, and thank you, VCP, for the night.
Thank you, everyone.